Today, I would like to discuss with you glowing in the deep. Why do some sea creatures glow? I'd like to start off by showing you a little video of some jellyfish swimming around, and so that you can see kind of how they're kind of see-through, but they're also a little bit of color, and it will show you how they glow in the sea. And I'm hoping that you all can see this. As you can see, they look kind of see-through, but they're kind of purple. This is a very short clip that doesn't seem to want to play very well. And they just kind of float around, change color. It's very helpful for them. As you can see, different colors. Now I want you guys to think about something. If your body could make its own light without using electricity, but through chemistry, does that sound like something that would be interesting to talk about? But it's something that happens every day in the ocean to certain creatures. Glowing creatures to me are super fascinating, but I really love the ocean. I think there's so much that can be discovered out there that we have no clue about. I think there's a lot of research that can be done, and I also think that some of the creatures that live in the ocean could possibly have benefits to our health, and possibly even could have cures for certain diseases. But again, that's a whole different other topic, but definitely something that is worth looking into if you're interested in that kind of stuff. Most people have only ever seen the glowing online or in like a documentary movie, and they don't really understand why they glow. It's magical to me, but it's actually a form of science. So I'd like to explain to you what we like to call bioluminescence and how it works and how sea creatures can use it to survive. So bioluminescence is when a sea creature itself produces light. It's not just like fireflies. It's, it can be jellyfish, anglerfish, even some squid can use bioluminescence on there to create this. It's a chemical reaction, and it happens when luciferin and luciferase react together. Luciferin reacts to oxygen, and luciferase is the trigger, and that creates the light without the heat. So scientists technically will call this what we call cold light because there's no heat reaction. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, this process is super efficient. They've studied it and done a lot of research with it, and they are a great source to look up information if you're still interested in this. Animals that can glow, how cool is that? I think it'd be really neat to have a fish tank with just everything that would glow. I'm not really sure how I would accomplish that, but that might be something on my bucket list later on. And sorry, I did not realize that my video was still playing music in the background. Some common things, like I had mentioned, are jellyfish, anglerfish, squid. And teeny little creatures like plankton, like some of you maybe have seen a picture online before, and it looks like the beach. And where the ocean meets the beach, there's like a strip that's bluish green, and it looks like glow, like the glow stuff from like the glow bracelets. That's really actually plankton floating around with their bioluminescence, and it's actually what we like to call sea sparkle. Most of these animals live deep down in the ocean where there's absolutely no sunlight. Scientists believe that over 75% of ocean creatures that live in the deep actually are bioluminescent in some way or form or another, but they can also glow closer to the surface. The Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute has actually done a lot of research about this and has been able to show different ways that this is accomplished. But why do they glow? Why do sea creatures glow in the first place? There's a few reasons. One is to hide, hunt, and communicate. Some animals, like squid, they use the glow to blend in with their surroundings. So, like, if they're glowing and the sunlight is shining down and they're in the stream of sunlight, you cannot see them. So a predator would just swim right on by and not even notice that they were there. Some of it is if they glow, similar to like the angler fish, he has kind of a light bulb that kind of comes down over his head and hangs. And when he turns that on, it actually scares predators away so that he doesn't get eaten. And it's kind of like a fishing rod. They can also, sometimes it will lure in the prey so that they don't have to work as hard to get food. It's kind of an interesting way to get food. Some fish use the bioluminescent feature to attract mates, more to them. They think if they're glowing, then they're more of attractive, more of a catch, so to speak. Why it matters. So bioluminescence in itself is super cool. And I really, after kind of researching it a little bit for this, really think I'm going to do a little bit more research just because I think it'd be really neat to know and see what else is out there that could glow besides the couple of things I have mentioned. But there's proteins in jellyfish that scientists have found that can be used for medical research and imaging technology, which is huge because, the medical field is growing and changing all the time as far as, technology being brought in and doing certain things and different cures and all those things. So I think that's really great. National Geographic has done a lot of articles and research kind of working with scientists about this. So you can definitely go to there to look up more. I really think that's a great source. So just to recap, I think bioluminescence is a natural process that lets sea creatures make their own light using chemistry. I know it's a lot of information and in such a short time, and I've tried to cover it the best I can, but it's difficult. And one fun fact that I have learned during this is some squid can actually turn off their glowing, kind of like flipping a light switch in your house. They do this so that they can sneak right by the predators in the complete darkness, and they're safe because they aren't being able to be seen. Thank you for listening to my spiel about all this. Like I said, it's a lot of information. There's great sources out there. National Geographic, the Monterey Bay. There is, I forget about my other source, but I had mentioned it in the beginning of the video. The NOAA is great. So I hope you're kind of thinking like, you look at the ocean now, and for me, it kind of puts a whole new perspective on what is really out there, what really glows. Is there any other creatures out there that could have bioluminescence that we don't necessarily know about, that we could find out about? And really think, to me, it's interesting because I love the ocean and sea life. And maybe it's something now that you're interested in, but if not, that's okay too. And I can't wait to hear about all your other videos. But if this is something you're interested in, feel free to reach out and we can chat. I hope you all have a great day and keep on glowing.